Religious leaders have been urged to intensify efforts in national reorientation of Nigerians in order to strengthen the bond of unity in the nation. President Bola Tinubu made the plea while receiving members of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, led by the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, who is also the President General of the Council. The Council also used the visit to call on the President to work in the interest of the people.
Yes, thank you very much. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, under the leadership of His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto and the President General, is here to pay a courtesy call on Mr. President, to appreciate him for what he's doing for the nation, and to also advise him as to what the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs feels should be done to make sure that it continues to rule with transparency, with honesty, with equity, to the benefit of all members of this great country of ours. We feel that the right way to do is to advise Mr. President and not to go through a third party. We believe God will continue to strengthen him to make it possible for him to continue to serve this great nation.
He has accepted all the words of advice they've offered him. He has also asked them to continue to engage, to continue to dialogue. And Mr. President has also asked them to be in the forefront of the national reorientation, which is one of the pillars of his administration. He has asked them to go back to areas of conflict. You recall that the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence, was also in Niger to engage with the military junta there. He has asked them to continue to go back in the spirit of his belief that only dialogue, only engagement can end crises across the world.
Members of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs on a visit to President Bola Tinubu. The deplorable conditions of federal roads in Ogun State will soon be a thing of the past, as the government at the center has concluded plans to review all the road contracts to fast-track its reconstruction. The Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, made this known during a courtesy call on State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun at his office, Okemoso, Abeokuta, as part of his on-the-spot assessment of federal roads in the southwest. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu reports.
Governor Dapo Abiodun received Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, who was in the Gateway State to inspect all the federal roads across the state. While appreciating the governor for the level of infrastructure development in the state, especially that of Ekpe Road, Senator Umahi assured that the remaining 8 kilometers of the ongoing reconstruction of Shagamu-Ikorodu Road would be completed by November to enhance movement of the people within the ASICs. The minister also explained that the 77 kilometers Lagos-Ota-Abeokuta highway awarded to Julius Baja many years back suffered serious setback due to the various clauses in the contract, adding that the funding of the project would soon be reviewed by the new policy of the current administration.
On this Lagos, Abeokuta, Ota, Lagos distance, I want us to work together. We've done 30% of the work. You can own 60%, we own 40%, and you can do your own portion of the 60%. You can give it to a contractor of your choice that are designed.
On Kwakwanlanto Road, the minister said the use of tax credit for its reconstruction and adopting the use of highway development and management initiative through the public-private partnership for the reconstruction and maintenance of federal roads across the country will be tapped into.
On this Kwakwanlanto's Benin, in as much as people are doing a tax credit scheme, they must not hold us to ransom. Because if it's going to take donkey years to get the job done, we have to intervene by saying, look, XYZ tax credit person, you must not be the contractor. You can supply the cement, which is a chunk of the project. and then you now get a contractor. So we are open to PPP, and any state governor that wants to do PPP with federal government, we are ready. It is already approved, and that will help us.
In his remarks, Governor Abeokuta thanked the minister for the visit, which he said would provide the needed opportunity for the minister to ascertain the deplorable conditions of major roads in the state.
And you can hardly tell the difference between Ota and Lagos. That road, I think the contract must have been awarded in maybe 2012, 2010, or something like that, under the watch of President Obasanjo. It was awarded to Julius Baja. Since then, that contract has been subjected to so many reviews. The problem with that contract originally was that that contract was never properly funded.
On the reconstruction of Shagamu-Bini Road, the governor expressed regret over the bad portion that was abandoned within the state.
It was a road that was constructed to complement the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. So when you're coming from Lagos, going to the east and going to the north, I'm hoping that you'll be able to help us fast track, the construction of Shagamu, because that road, we as a state have continued to maintain that road. There's so many black spots there because the road is so bad. It presents an opportunity for kidnappers and armed robbers to attack people in that very short section.
Abeokuta also appealed to the minister to assist the state in ensuring that most of the federal roads in bad conditions in the state are put in good shape, as people of the state cannot differentiate between the state and federal roads. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
In the meantime, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has revealed that his administration is deploying technological innovations in addressing security challenges in the state. Governor Abiodun stated this while receiving the new General Officer commanding 81 Division comprising Ogun and Lagos states, Major General Muhammad Usman, in his office. Governor's office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu again reports.
Governor Dapo Abiodun received the General Officer commanding 81 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Muhammad Usman, who came to familiarize himself and to state his mission at the Gateway State. The governor praised the men of the Nigerian Army and other security agencies for what he called their untiring efforts, particularly at ensuring the state is rated as one of the most peaceful in the country. Abiodun also pointed out that his government has taken cognizance of the need to deploy technology, believing that with that, crimes can be neutralized before they are committed in the states.
We as a government continue to provide all of them the support that they need, and we pledge that we'll continue to do just that. Because like you said, all we need to do is give them that support and then demand from them to provide us the security that we need. This is Ogun State. We'd like to continue to remain the investor's destination of choice. And we know that for as long as we do that, for as long as we continue to ensure that we live up to the dictates of our vision by partnering with the public and the private sector, it will translate to economic prosperity of our state and also the individual upliftment of our citizens. And it's important that we continue to work hand in glove with the entire law enforcement architecture to achieve this objective.
Speaking earlier, Major General Usman called on the state government to empower the men in the forward operation base along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to enable them confront cases of kidnapping as well as other acts of crimes and criminality headlong.
I will also use the opportunity of requesting that there is an FOB deployed along that forward operational base deployed along Ibadan-Lagos Highway, which of course your own state too is part of it. Incidentally, I'm not coming from Ibadan, so I know what I'm talking about. We have an FOB also within that Ibadan area, patrolling the highway. Please, just sit down with the base commander so you can empower them more, so they can cover your own stretch of the road.
The Army Chief also appreciated Governor Abiodun for a constant support to the Nigerian Army and that of other security agencies in the state. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
In a related development, the Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Abeokuta, says insufficient manpower is hindering the agency's efforts to tackle crime, saying the police need an extra 190,000 personnel to effectively man the country. IGP Abeokuta said this in a paper presentation to the Senior Executive Course 45 at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru Jos, on Wednesday. According to him, while the UN recommended 1 police personnel to 460 citizens ratio, Nigeria has a police-citizen ratio of 1 to 650. The police chief noted that if the country is not well policed, the government's industrialization drive would become unrealistic. Ogun State House of Assembly has invited the State Accountant General Babatunde Aregbesola and members of the State Joint Account Allocation Committee to investigate the alleged diversion of local government funds, resulting into 0 allocations to the local government councils in the state. According to the Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, who presided over the plenary held at the Assembly Complex, Okemoso, Abeokuta, the meeting would hold on Friday, 1st September 2023 at 1 in the afternoon.
The Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, issued the invitation while presiding over the plenary, explained that the invitation was premised on Section 128, subsection 2 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, added that the State House of Assembly was empowered to investigate and take necessary actions to expose corrupt practices. According to him, the invitation became imperative given the myriad of messages and mails received from different quarters regarding the federal allocation to local government councils in the state.
I hereby invite the Accountant General of the State, alongside all the members of the Joint Accounts Committee, to appear before this House Friday, 1st of September 2023 by 1 p.m. to come and explain to this House what exactly is happening, so that the people of the state can be fully briefed of what is going on, and then you to take necessary action. I so further.
He further appealed to the people of the state, especially residents of Ijebu East local government area, to maintain peace and orderliness, with an assurance that the Assembly would perform its statutory duties in line with the rule of law.
Still ahead, President Tinubu orders recapture of fleeing inmates. Details of this and more after the break. You're still watching OGTV News. The federal government will soon come up with robust platforms to address challenges in the northern Nigeria as it is reassessing the state of affairs in the region. Disclosing this was the Vice President Kashim Shettima while receiving a coalition of Northern State Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, led by its President, Alhaji Abubakar. The Vice President commended the efforts of President Bola Tinubu towards tackling the level of insecurity in the north. Shettima also commended the leadership of the delegation for its commitment to the development of the north through various industrial projects and also partner with the federal government to ensure meaningful development. He was of the view that for any country to achieve economic development, it must first promote peace and stability. Leader of the delegation, Alhaji Abubakar, expressed the readiness of the coalition to partner with the federal government towards the revitalization of the economy of the northern region. Minister of Interior Bumi Tunji Ojo has said that the President Bola Tinubu has issued a marching order that all fleeing inmates across the country should be recaptured. Between 2021 and 2022, there were at least 7 attacks on custodial centers across the country, where a large number of inmates escaped from the centers. The 7 attacked custodial centers are Kuje, Kogi, Jos, Abeokuta, Owerri, Okitipupa, and Oko prisons. To date, about 4,000 inmates are still at large. Addressing journalists after the inspection of the facilities at the Nigerian Immigration Service and Nigerian Correctional Service, Tunji Ojo said the service would work hard to ensure the order given by the President on fleeing inmates is followed to the letter. He also said the Nigerian Correctional Service would work in collaboration with the security agencies in the country to recapture them, and any acts of sabotage would not be tolerated from correctional officers. The Nigerian government and the United Nations have signed 2 memoranda of understanding to further strengthen counter-terrorism efforts in the country. In a statement by the Head of Strategic Communications, Office of the National Security Advisor, Zakari Majinyawa, on Thursday, the memoranda would help deepen the fight against terrorism in the country. Both parties said at the signing ceremony in Abuja that the documents were in furtherance of Nigeria's joint efforts with the international community in combating the global menace of terrorism, which remains one of the most complex challenges to peace, security, and stability of nations around the world. The national coordinator, the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Rear Admiral Jim Musa, who represented the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, noted that the 2 memoranda of understanding signaled a momentous milestone in cementing Nigeria's partnership with the UN towards enhanced collective counter-terrorism efforts. Dr. Betta Edu, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, has disclosed that 23,000 people have been reported missing in less than a decade due to the insurgency in some parts of the country. She said this in Abuja at a stakeholders' engagement with the theme, "Where are you now?" to mark the International Day of the Disappeared. She said that the figure represented half the number of missing people in the whole of Africa. Edu said that the report of the missing people released by the International Committee of the Red Cross and the Nigerian Red Cross Society was a result of insurgency in some parts of the country. Ogun State House of Assembly has passed a resolution directing the state government to support the exclusive breastfeeding initiative in the health sector by extending the period of maternity leave for nursing mothers in the state public service. The passage of the resolution at the plenary, presided over by the Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, followed a motion moved by the Majority Leader, Honorable Yusuf Sharif, and seconded by the Minority Leader, Lukman Adeleye, who is also the sponsor of the resolution. Kolawole Osho's report is presented in this package.
Leader and the sponsor of the resolution, Honorable Lukman Adeleye, stated that the proposed extension of the exclusive breastfeeding as being practiced in other southwestern states was targeted at nurturing healthy children with strong immunity and high-level intelligence quotient. According to him, the resolution would assist in recognizing the crucial role of exclusive breastfeeding in the overall health and well-being of infants and nursing mothers, stating that there was the need for an extension of period of maternity leave to enable nursing mothers breastfeed their babies effectively. This, the sponsor noted, will create an avenue for acknowledging the existing national policy that supports exclusive breastfeeding in both formal and informal work environments, pointing out the fact that most states in the Southwest already enjoyed 6-month maternity leave and that Ogun State should be part of the laudable initiative.
By extending the maternity leave nursing mother from the traditional 3 months to 6 months. And I'm pleading, seeking the support of my colleagues to let us look into this. There are lots of advantages.
He called on government and all stakeholders to take decisive actions to ensure supportive breastfeeding environment, urging employers of labor to prioritize breastfeeding-friendly facilities for nursing mothers and babies. Corroborating the sponsor's view, other lawmakers commended the sponsor of the proposed resolution, explaining that it was the right initiative that would aid the overall health and well-being of babies and sustain the healthy living of the nursing mothers. Earlier at the plenary, the Assembly acknowledged a correspondence from the State Governor, Prince Abeokuta, requesting the Assembly's approval for the 2024 to 2026 State Medium-Term Expenditure Framework to allow the state begin preparation for the 2024 state budget.
I therefore seek your consideration and approval of the entire 2024-2026 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework so that the process of planning and budgeting for the year 2024 and the outer years of 2025 and 2026 are commenced in earnest.
In similar vein, the Assembly also adopted the Harmonized Standing Order Rule of Procedure of Nigerian Legislature shortly after a few amendments through a motion moved by the Majority Leader Yusuf Sharif, seconded by the Minority Leader Honorable Lukman Adeleye, and supported by the whole House through a unanimous voice vote.
Well-breastfed babies are healthier and have lower risk of contracting disease and death rate. Therefore, there is need to collectively work towards strengthening the capacity of breastfeeding mothers, providing and sustaining a breastfeeding-friendly environment. This was the charge by the wife of Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, during a breastfeeding campaign held in Yewa Zone. Margaret Okunola reports.
With the aim of penetrating the nooks and crannies of the state, advocating collective efforts towards a future where breastfeeding is supported and embraced by all, resulting in healthier generations and a thriving Nigerian workforce, wife of Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, this time has taken the gospel of breastfeeding to Yewa Zone, and this is Primary Health Center in Ilara, Alagbe Ward. Mrs. Abiodun, who was represented by the wife of the state head of service, Mrs. Florence Fagbon, again re-emphasized that breastfeeding is a human right. Therefore, it should be available to every newborn baby as room service.
Breastfed babies are healthier and have lower disease and death rates. Therefore, as residents, we must collectively work towards strengthening the capacity of breastfeeding mothers, providing and sustaining a breastfeeding-friendly environment.
There was a lecture on the right techniques, pros and cons of breastfeeding, as well as an enlightening session on gender-based violence.
This is a rural area, and so because we have a lot of people around, men and women, whatever lesson they take from here, I'm sure they will take it home and work on it and work with it.
We need to talk to them in order for them to see the reason why they need to speak up. We can't afford to continue to lose our women, and that is why we felt, it is pertinent for us to come out, build their capacity, encourage them.
Vice Chairman of Abeokuta Local Government, Honorable Fasilatu Adebayo, the wife of the chairman, Alhaja Kudirat Fadipe, representatives of royal fathers among other stakeholders present, lauded the campaign exercise, saying it would go a long way at improving the breastfeeding statistics in the state. Beneficiaries said it was an eye-opening session.
We are very grateful for everything she has done. She's a good woman, so she should keep it up. I learned that it's good for us to be feeding our baby for good 6 months first before give her food.
I gave birth to twins, and sometimes I find it difficult to give them breast once. So through the education, through what they teach us today, I was able to get some stuff like how to breastfeed the two at once.
Food items were distributed to pregnant women and nursing mothers present at the occasion. Margaret Okunola, OGTV News.
Ogun State Polytechnic of Health and Allied Sciences, Ilese Ijebu, will soon commence the running of a diploma course in alternate medicine. The Chairman, Governing Council of the Polytechnic, Otumba Kone Kalejaye, a senior advocate of Nigeria, dropped the hint at Ilese Ijebu, showing the investiture of Dr. Razak Yinka Akimbo as the substantive rector of the Polytechnic. Otumba Kalejaye expressed appreciation to the Governor of Ogun State for the approval of a rector and the recent uplifting of the institution to a polytechnic. Fawara Adesowo reports.
A warm reception for the substantive rector of Ogun State Polytechnic of Health and Allied Sciences, Ilese Ijebu, Dr. Razak Yinka Akimbo, by staff and governing council of the institution. The reception was in 3 phases with frank talks from stakeholders on how to make the institution regain its lost glory and measure up with a new structure. The Polytechnic, which is a pioneer institution of health and allied sciences, used to be College of Health Technology and became a national and higher national diploma awarding institution before it was renamed. Otumba Kunle Kalejaye SCN, Chairman Governing Council of the 46-year-old institution, repeatedly spelled out the best way forward for the institution while urging the management and staff, academic and non-academic staff of the institution to live above board.
We have a culture that we have established here. We call it a day with the council. On that day, you can come here, point at the rector and abuse him, and we give you immunity. No, he cannot punish you. That is the day, we call it the day of truth. Where people can look at the rector in the face and say, you are a fraud. Dr. Kibo, may you never be accused like that before us.
The Ilese of Ilese Oba Oluremi Obayomi, Asiwaju Dele Odulaja, and his colleagues in the governing council called for cooperation and synergy among stakeholders. The registrar of the Polytechnic, Abimbola Oyefesobi, said the institution now has 26 departments and over 5,000 students. The new rector, Dr. Razak Yinka Akimbo, in his inaugural speech, sought the cooperation and promised to tackle stagnance and promotion, encourage further studies, improve welfare and security, as well as provision of adequate infrastructure and create more avenues for internally generated revenue.
I want to emphasize that this is a call to service, which requires determination and conscious efforts from me to make a success of this office.
There were goodwill messages from the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, where the new rector, Dr.